I know I just recently made a video that was saying that I'm moving to St. Louis, but I have an update. I'm actually not moving to St. Louis. I'm moving to Colorado. This is a really random and major just switch for a couple days, but I I'll explain. I don't want to get into the details of the situation. I'm just going to say that I have a better opportunity in Colorado, and it, just a better opportunity. That's all I can really say. There's not much else I can say towards that. It's really just a better opportunity. I'll explain what I was going to do in St. Louis. And I had an Airbnb rented out for a month. It costed $900 to rent it out, which is not expensive, but it wasn't near any extremely reliable public transportation. I was planning to live there without a car. I would have to wait at a bus stop that didn't have a chair. That sucks. In the new situation I have a bus stop that does have a stop and comes every 20 minutes. The bus line that I would have in St. Louis comes every 30 minutes. And I get free okay, I would get free bus passes on both, but that's besides the point. Other thing is, I didn't have a planned job. I didn't have a job planned out in St. Louis. I was planning to just move and find a job. I didn't know what I was going to work. This may seem stupid, but I seriously didn't know what to do. I couldn't find a job. I want to get out of Florida, but it just seemed like it was impossible. But then I have a job in Colorado waiting for me. I have housing waiting for me, more permanent housing. It's just a better deal. I'm sorry to people who wanted me to move to St. Louis. I mean, I would prefer moving to St. Louis just for the culture experience and stuff in regards to that. But overall, you just have to pick what opportunity is better for you and more guaranteed to bring you happiness. And I just see this bringing me much more happiness in the long term. I'm sorry to some people who I may have uh, got their hopes up. I mean, there's some people who they're extremely sad about me or about the Switch. Uh, but life is really unpredictable. Or just as the Styx song goes, nothing ever goes as planned. And being 18 and when you're 18 and you're trying not to immediately go to college, it's really tough because going to college is incentivized. Incentivized meaning that most jobs, let's say in the city I was trying to move to, Chicago, they didn't want to accept me unless I had proof I was going to college or proof of housing. And I couldn't, when it came to housing, most housing places didn't want to accept me unless I had a job. Even on Airbnb, people were like, "Oh, you need a job." So I was like, "Well, you know what? I really wanted to move to Chicago, honestly, because great public transportation there. There's a lively downtown. It's really one of the most amazing places I've ever been. And that's really where I wanted to move." but none of the I applied for probably 100 jobs there, and none of them would accept me. So then I found something else. I'm not going to get into the details of what's going on in Colorado, but I'm just saying I found something else that works with good public transportation, which is key. I'm not going to specify where this is either, but it's just it sucks. I mean, it really sucks, but it sucks in some regard because again, I wanted to live in a big city. Okay, I just gave away that it's not in a big city, so it's not Denver. I'll tell you that much. But at the same time, you just have to pick what's best for yourself. You need to see all different opportunities, and whatever's the best opportunity for you, whatever you see that has the most positives, that's what you have to go for. And I just look at the pros and cons of each decision. For example, St. Louis, there's a lot of positives. I have friends who say the food's really good. I know people over there. That's positives. Negatives is I have horrible public transportation. I won't have a car, which you kind of need in St. Louis. Uh, Not completely, but more so than other cities. And when it comes to St. Louis, I actually am planning to go take a trip over there during May to go check it out. Because I mean, quite frankly, just looking around online, it does look like a really cool place, but it looks like a place that you should move if you have a little bit more money, because you don't want to end up in a place that's horrible. And St. Louis has those places that are absolutely terrifying from what it sounds, and I didn't want the chance of ending up in one of those places. And I wasn't, well, from what I understood, I wasn't going to be in one of them. But the biggest issue was where my local train station. So what I was going to do is take this bus route to a train station for the Metrolink, and then I was going to take the Metrolink to either Delmar Loop or downtown for a job. And that Metrolink station was in a really sketchy area. I started looking up statistics of it, extremely high crime rate, and I was looking at transit videos, and I was like, I just there's like nobody at that stop. I felt like I was scared that I was gonna get robbed or something. I'm not saying that I'm completely not or saying I won't move to St. Louis. I'm going to check it out, and when I have more money, I'll consider it because it is really affordable. But I just have to make sure that the area is good, from what I understand. I'm also going to consider Chicago because I really love Chicago. Again, out of every city I've ever been to, Chicago's the best city I've ever been to. It is such an amazing place. Even after all the job turn downs I've received, I still love it. There's really nothing like it that I've ever been to so far. I mean, people talk about New York City being great. I've never been to New York City. That's another place I want to visit this year because I hear it's another really amazing place. Though I will say I've tried New York food before and I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'm sorry if I offend anybody by saying that. Okay, outside of this one place in Tampa, I'm trying to there's this one restaurant in the West Shore Mall, New York's pizza style restaurant, and it's really good. But outside of that, most of the New York places that I've tried down here, but the area I live in, there's a lot apparently a lot of New Yorkers, and I've tried a lot of their places, and I'm not a big fan of it. But still, I'm going to go to New York, or going to try to go to New York this year. I'm going to try the food up there and see if it's any better, which can be the case sometimes. Probably gonna take a trip to Chicago this year because I just love it so much. Um, but that's not the only thing. I mean, I just looking from online. Chicago is a beautiful city. It is really, really beautiful. There are a lot of people who will tell you otherwise. They'll tell you that Chicago is a horrible, crime-ridden place, this, that, all this horrible stuff. But trust me, do not listen to them. It is stunning. It is a great